waiting for? 007 First Light is an action-packed, story-driven adventure spy thriller where you play as a young James Bond as he ventures on his first journey and his first steps into the larger world of spycraft. Bond hasn't been in games for around 13 years or so. Because we're doing a younger Bond, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to really explore how the relationships he has in his younger years, how they affect him as a character.
We want to make sure that the player is engaged all the way while telling a super interesting story. Since it's the origin story, really trying to hammer his license to kill and how he can actually become the superhero that we all know and love.
We are a game-first company. We have a world system team to build tools so we can make better immersive worlds. Glacier Engine is truly a creative platform. Because of the visual graph that we have, the node-based editor, that gives in the full freedom to our designers to have the overview, so they can decide where to use what. So you can actually change an asset, could be a texture, could be a geometry, and then you will be able to see it in the game instantly without any packing, loading, building times.
The primary tech that we are developing together with NVIDIA is all the Dlss features, especially of Dlss 4. Everything from multi-frame generation to super resolution is incredibly useful and something that we have integrated very closely into the game. We've made a new volumetric smoke system that really tries to push the limits of how we can represent smoke and fog and explosions in the game. And this is something that's not been done anywhere before.
Having software and hardware working together and getting the best out of it while using these techniques really helps us to push the limits, to give us a freedom that our designers can really go beyond the limitations of the hardware.
We also want to make sure that we can improve on the action elements of the game. So shooting and cover mechanics and all that sort of stuff has also taken a huge leap forward to make sure that it's an actual action game. We've developed a completely new animation system for James Bond, and we've also developed a new AI system that tries to take a Hitman approach, but in a new quality direction, and making sure that the interactions that players get with NPCs are actually believable and as top-notch as we can do.
As game developers, we entertain people, but entertainment is not just fun, it's also creating those memories. So we are very proud building games that people remember.
I would hope that we find a new, fresh audience for Bond and that they get to connect to this character. And I would hope for them that they get to fall in love with him a little bit like we have during this development.
We are very proud at being the team that can actually bring 007 back into gaming. And this is something that we want to nourish and see what we can do to encourage players to actually just enjoy this experience that we're crafting for them.
Now, we're introducing DLSS 4.5. We have dramatically improved super resolution with a new second-gen transformer model, and we've expanded the capabilities of multi-frame generation. DLSS 4 introduced a new transformer architecture that enabled a big leap in image quality over our previous convolutional neural network. Now, we're releasing our second-generation transformer for super resolution. It's 5 times more compute and is trained on an expanded dataset. So the model has greater context awareness of every scene and more intelligent use of pixel sampling and motion vectors. These improvements make super resolution performance and ultra performance modes so much better. It has superior anti-aliasing for smoother edges, clearer gameplay, even with fast-moving objects, and improved temporal stability from frame to frame. With DLSS 4.5, we've also made multi-frame generation better in every way. The second generation transformer delivers superior image quality as input to the frame generation model. The frame generation model has been continuously fine-tuned for improved quality and stability. And we've improved frame pacing to ensure the high frame rates feel as good as they look. With these improvements, we can now generate up to 5 additional frames per rendered frame with minimal change to latency. That's a new 6x total multiplier, unlocking 240Hz 4K gaming with real-time path tracing. Along with this 6x capability, DLSS 4.5 also introduces dynamic multi-frame generation. This mode dynamically increases the number of generated frames in demanding scenes, maximizing the monitor's refresh rate for the smoothest possible experience. In less demanding scenes, it automatically decreases the number of generated frames, so it only computes what's needed. DLSS 4 was already the best way to play. Now, just a year later, DLSS 4.5 runs faster, looks better, and is easier to use. We're excited to launch the second generation Super Resolution Transformer for all GeForce RTX users. Dynamic multi-frame generation will be available in spring for GeForce RTX 50 series users. All of the features announced for DLSS 4.5 will be available through override settings in the NVIDIA app. With the launch of DLSS 4.5, NVIDIA continues to push the boundaries of accelerated computing in both AI and graphics. They are now one and the same, and we can't wait to see where we go next.
Enthusiastically neutralizing unfriendlies.
Great! And it's mine!
Phantom Blade Zero is based on Rembrandt, an indie game I made all by myself in like 15 years ago. In 2021, we decided to make a major shift to big console and PC titles. That is the beginning of Phantom Blade Zero. We created a style, we call it Kung Fu Punk, in which we mix in our own Chinese culture and Chinese wuxia cultures with those cool elements from modern entertainment industry, such as steampunk, folklore, and also cosmic horror and such. I would say it's neither Souls-like nor hack and slash. We would love to create something in between, something with both the explorations and also fast-paced combat. The very good thing for PC gamers is they have different ways to experience the game. I think RTX and DLSS 4 are the main features that enhance our game a lot. The rain is one of our core environmental features. So having a convincing presentation of anything in the rain is important, and we count on ray tracing system for this. It's difficult to maintain the frame rate while you have a top-notch graphic. So DLSS 4 and other NVIDIA technologies support us to get a stable frame rate while getting the best graphic.
プラグマタは2人の主人公を同時に操作してゲームを進める新感覚の SF アクションアドベンチャーです。舞台は近未来の月面です。人類が月の鉱石をもとに製造したルナフィラメントと呼ばれる新素材を使うことで、あらゆるものが 3D プリントできるようになった月面世界で地球への帰還を目指す物語が描かれます。異変の起こった月面施設に調査に訪れた探査員のヒュー・ウィリアムス。しかし彼はチームメンバーと共に巨大な月震に巻き込まれて遭難してしまいます。そんなヒューを助けたのがルナフィラメントで作られた特製のアンドロイドディアナでした。ディアナのハッキングとヒューのシューティング、異なるゲーム性の融合がユニークなゲームプレイ体験をユーザーに提供します。一見すると大柄な男が小さな少女を守るだけの関係に見えるかもしれませんが、2人は共にお互いを助け合うバディです。ヒューがピンチになった時にはもちろん、ディアナがハッキングで助け、協力して月面施設の探索を進めていきます。
プラグマタではパストレーシングが実装されます。光が環境の中で実際にどのように反射し、拡散し、回り込むのかを再現することで、より生命感のあるビジュアルを生み出します。これにより反射、影、間接光がより自然となり、まるでハイエンドの SF 映画のような表現がゲームの中で実現されます。パストレーシングはゲーム表現を根本から変える技術であり、レンダリング手法における大きな転換点となります。今回初めて紹介させていただいたパストレーシングの対応に加えて、Dlss マルチフレームジェネレーションへの対応も予定しています。NVIDIA Dlss によりフレームレートを向上させ、遅延を低減し、全体的な画質を高めることで、幅広い PC 環境で素晴らしいゲーム体験を提供できるようになりました。
PC ゲーマーの皆さんに実際にゲームをプレイしていただき、ユニークなゲームプレイと様々なメカニズムがシームレスに連携する要素を体験していただけることを本当に楽しみにしています。PC ゲーマーの皆さんには現在 Steam にて配信中のデモを実際にプレイしてみてほしいと考えています。
And Linux isn't the only new platform addition. We will also be adding support for Fire TV starting later this month. And we're excited to announce support for flight controls and HOTAs. Expect better precision, more immersion, and an incredibly low latency experience in your favorite sim games. We also continue to make it easier to get right into your games with single sign-on support for your favorite store platforms. Because really, it's all about the games. Whether you're hunting monsters or hunting your 00 status, GeForce Now will give you the power.
All right, we're headed to the G-Sync Optical Lab. As you already know, in 2013, G-Sync revolutionized gaming monitors for GeForce gamers. We introduced variable refresh rate technology, which put an end to ugly screen tearing. And now we're launching the next big evolution in VRR tech with G-Sync Pulsar monitors. Garrett, the lead architect of G-Sync technology, is going to explain how it was done. Come on.
Welcome to our G-Sync Optical Lab, where we're constantly exploring how to improve display technologies for gaming. An LCD or OLED display is always showing an image during scan-out, so pixels actually show at the wrong location for almost an entire frame time, which is perceived as blur for moving objects. This blur can be removed by strobing or pulsing the display's backlight. However, if you try doing this by varying the pulse proportional to a variable refresh rate, it causes flicker in the human eye. We tried for over 10 years to develop pulse sequences that would not flicker. At one point we even proved that the solution wasn't possible. We almost gave up there. Until a colleague suggested adding a compensation pulse, shifting the flicker to a higher frequency where it's not visible. This breakthrough enables G-Sync Pulsar to improve motion clarity together with VRR without any flickering. Pulsar-enabled displays have multiple horizontal backlight sections that are independently pulsed from top to bottom. With this rolling scan scheme, pixels are given almost a full frame time to achieve the right values before being backlit, showing objects at the correct location. We pulse at 25% of a frame time. This means any object hold time is 4 times smaller for 4 times the effective motion clarity. In other words, at 250 FPS with Pulsar, you get the motion clarity of a theoretical 1000 Hz monitor as if you're rendering at 1000 FPS.
In competitive gaming, enhanced motion clarity can give you the competitive edge with more precise tracking and response to fast-moving elements. For immersive games, increased clarity enhances immersion. Then you no longer need to switch between ULMB and VRR as in the past. I also want to tell you about something else that we are announcing today called G-Sync Ambient Adaptive Technology. A built-in sensor detects the ambient light in your gaming space. When the light in your room changes, so does your display's brightness and color temperature. You're likely familiar with such features on your mobile phone or tablet. In daylight, the display will show 100% brightness and cool white colors. As the space darkens, the display can automatically scale luminance down with warmer light colors. With this optional feature, you can just set it and forget it for the best lighting day and night. You can get new G-Sync monitors with pulsar and ambient adaptive technologies at select retailers. And going forward, we'll be bringing you more G-Sync monitors and technologies faster than ever before, because G-Sync is now being integrated into display scalers from MediaTek, streamlining production and making great gaming displays more accessible.
Hey everyone! RTX Remix is a platform we created to help modders remaster classic games with path tracing and modern graphics. Last year, the Remix community released over 50 RTX mods. One of my favorites is Unreal RTX. The game that launched Unreal Engine 1 in 1998 has been remade with RTX graphics, and it looks awesome. And then there's Left 4 Dead 2 RTX. With Remix, it looks like a game that could have released this year. Today, we're announcing a new feature called Remix Logic, an easy way for modders to change up the graphics based on game events without needing hours of programming or source code. It makes RTX mods feel more dynamic. Let me show you. When I open this door, I can see a familiar landscape from Half-Life 2 RTX. But this door uses Remix Logic, and each time I open it, it changes the world around me. Here's a sci-fi device. When I pick it up, Remix Logic makes the buildings start to breathe in a dreamlike way. This control over cause and effect can even create new gameplay possibilities. Take this crossbow for example. With Remix Logic, when the camera zooms, it creates a night vision effect, allowing me to see the zombie that was hiding in the dark. We can even create a system that warns the player about incoming danger. For example, when an enemy's nearby, I see this dramatic pulsing effect. Or I can create complex and cinematic sequences. When I activate this machine, Logic makes it emit particles. Those particles become chaotic as the machine overloads. And when it blasts a beam into the sky, Remix alters the visuals to create a nuclear skyline. It even triggers the zombies to disintegrate. Modders will be able to connect a wide variety of game events to change over 900 graphical settings. Logic is going to add another level of flair to Remix mods, and it arrives later this month.